Chapter 20, Thursday Duk Camp. The first impression upon arriving at Thursday Duk Camp was that we were truly in prison. This camp was a female inmate rehabilitation center of the Republic of Vietnam era. It was built during the French colonial period, though I don't know the exact details. But it was indeed very solid. During the nearly 15 months at Long Ton Camp, we had never been locked in a cell. However, the first thing they did upon our arrival at Thursday Duk was to lock the door immediately after we entered. The camp was located in Thursday Duk Town, about 15 kilometers from Saigon. It was surrounded by a cement wall topped with barbed wire. Flanking the iron main gate were 2 watchtowers, and there was a guard post at each corner of the walls. Behind the main gate was a large yard leading to another wall that separated the yard from the inner prison area, with only a small gate in that wall. A few buildings in the corner of the yard served as offices for the staff and the management board. Beyond that wall, we had to walk through a narrow passage about 1.5 meters wide, flanked by 2 walls resembling a trench. Initially, I was taken to a cell in Zone B. The room had 2 cement platforms, about 1 meter high, along the 2 walls. The space between the platforms was a walkway leading to a small toilet at the end of the room. The walls enclosed a small courtyard in front of the cell, so we could only see others in our cell, but not those in other cells. 40 people were crammed into a cell with a single toilet featuring 2 latrine holes flush with water and a shower tap. At least it was cleaner than the latrines at Long Ton. A few days later, I was moved to cell number 4 in Zone A with some others. We were preparing to be transferred. The octagonal shape of cell number 4 made it look like a church. Some said it had once been a chapel for Catholic nuns, and that Thursday Duk Camp itself had been a convent. Cell number 4 could hold about 400 people. We slept on cement platforms raised about 1 meter above the walkway. A large bathroom on the right side of the cell had 4 latrine holes, 2 shower taps, and a sink. There were many windows with iron bars and a single door that led to a large courtyard near the gate to the front yard of the camp. 3 other cells opposite cell number 4 also belonged to Zone A, so we could see other inmates in those cells. All of us in Zone A were preparing to be transferred. Thursday Duk Camp was merely a transit station, so we had no work to do unless someone volunteered to chop firewood for the kitchen. Every morning, an officer would come open the cell door. He would stand at the door, and we had to sit and count ourselves out loud in order from number 1 to the last. We had half an hour to go out to the yard for sunbathing or exercise before returning to the cell to listen to newspaper readings until lunchtime. In the afternoon, we took turns bathing and washing clothes. After dinner, the officer would return for a check before locking the cell door. Sometimes we had to line up in the yard for a roll call, but usually we just counted ourselves inside the cell like in the morning. By the time we arrived at Thursday Duk Camp, 2 groups of inmates had already been transferred to camps somewhere in northern Vietnam. These were 2 groups from Long Ton. The first group left Long Ton within the first few weeks, and the second group had left not long before. I heard they were sent to Nam Ha Camp in the north. This time it was our turn. Our time at Thursday Duk Camp was the healthiest period among the re-education camps, aside from not having to work. We were also relatively well-fed with meals that included rice, tomato soup, or squash soup with a little meat. We joked among ourselves that they were fattening us up for hard labor. It was a joke, but not far from the truth. About 10 days later, more groups of inmates arrived to fill the cells at Thursday Duk, and the remaining inmates at Long Ton were also brought over. Officers came to cell number 4 to read the list of those who were prepared for transfer. Those not on the list were moved to other cells. I was among the transfer group. From that day on, we did nothing except gather in groups to speculate about the next camp. 2 days later, an officer came to cell number 4 and called for Tuan and me for interrogation. The two of us were then moved to another cell, while the rest of the group was transferred that very night. They were sent to Lao Cai and Quang Ninh camps in northern Vietnam.